Did you know Chicago has one experience ranked higher than almost anything else you can do in the US? USA Today named it the #1 boat tour in the country in 2025. It also has been voted Chicago readers' best tour for over a decade. Even TripAdvisor ranked it the third top experience in America in the 2025 Traveler's Choice Awards. This is the First Lady Chicago Architecture River Cruise. In this video, I'll take you on board to discover the skyline marvels that makes this the ultimate Chicago experience. Let's go explore. Chicago is the birthplace of the skyscraper, and the best way to see that story come alive is right on the river. We chose First Lady because they partner with the Chicago Architecture Center, which is a highly credible institution, and they focus on accurate storytelling and education, not just giving you a boat ride. The dock is right on the scenic Chicago Riverwalk. It's already a beautiful spot to hang out before you even get on the boat. It starts at $56 a person, and we opted for priority boarding at $81 each for the 90-minute tour. We were getting super excited as we waited to board, and we couldn't have asked for better weather. A perfect 72 degrees and blue sky.
Oh, the sky is so beautiful. I love it.
Boarding began on time, and we were among the first to board with priority seating. We sat on the open-air deck, where you get wide open views in every direction. There's also a climate-controlled indoor salon downstairs if you want to cool off with a drink or a snack.
The weather cleared up. It couldn't have been more beautiful than it is today, and we're just waiting for the boat to embark.
The boat pulled out right on time for this 90-minute tour. Let's get started.
That ornamentation that you see on it is inspired by Spanish Renaissance design from the 16th century, because at the time, the mid-90s, 1890s to the mid-1920s.
Honestly, there's no way that this video can capture even a fraction of what it felt like in person. Cruising down the river was so peaceful. Just the sound of the water, the city around us, and the voice of the tour guide weaving everything together. The commentary made it so much more than just a boat ride. Our guide was definitely a pro with so much knowledge. The tour kicked off by gliding past Trump Tower. Up ahead, you can see the iconic Jewelers Building. It was constructed back in 1926. At the time, it was the tallest building in the world outside of New York City. Can you imagine building something this massive in the 20s? It just blows my mind. By the way, excuse my silly look here. The sun was blazing, and I had to cover it up a little bit. Definitely bring a hat and sunscreen if you sit on the open deck. Here comes David's favorite buildings, the famous Corncob Towers, officially known as Marina City. When they opened back in the 60s, these were the tallest residential buildings in the world, and the first major high-rise project designed to bring people back into downtown living. Even today, they stand out bold, quirky, and instantly recognizable. There's just nothing else like them. The merchandise mart was absolutely massive. This classic Art Deco giant was built as Marshall Field's wholesale warehouse. When it opened in 1930, it was the largest building in the world. The original purpose faded over time as catalog mail orders were no longer popular and suburban shopping malls took over. Oh my gosh, this 54-story office tower has to be one of the coolest buildings I've ever seen. The design feels so modern and innovative, especially with that dramatic tapered base. From the river, it looks incredible, and it made me want to see it from the street and get a completely different perspective. By this point, we were really starting to understand why people call Chicago the Mecca of architecture. It felt like the city was showing off its greatest hits all at once. Look at the base of this 57-story residential skyscraper. The Heritage at Millennium Park, right here in the Loop. The detailing down here is just so beautiful. It's the kind of details you might miss if you only look up at the skyline. I just love this little River Cottages townhouse building. It's so charming and feels so cozy compared to the giant skyscrapers around it. Such a lovely contrast along the river. During the cruise, we actually went under 13 of the 38 movable bridges on the Chicago River. And yes, David counted every single one of them.
It does have to be raised and lowered once a year to be...
These residential buildings along the river look super fancy. I can only imagine how expensive they must be. And the sun was no joke. Even the person in front of me covered their head. Don't get me wrong though, it was gorgeous out here. But definitely bring sunscreen if you're on the open deck. I loved watching the kayakers paddle by. It added such a peaceful vibe to the river. Next time I come back to Chicago, I would love to try it myself. It looks so much fun. As we moved further along, the atmosphere shifted. The towering office buildings turned into more residential and quieter spaces. We cruised past the subway tracks. That was really cool to see from the water, and it reminded me a lot of New York City. It makes sense because both cities built so much of their infrastructure during the same era, when economic power was driving massive growth. One of the best parts of this tour is the narration from the guide. They're trained volunteers by the Chicago Architecture Center, and they're amazing at bringing the city's history and design to life. And here's a nice bonus. Your boat ticket also gets you 50% off to the Architecture Center Museum, as long as you use it within 7 days. We'll check that out later. This is the Riverside Plaza building, originally known as the Chicago Daily News building, completed in 1929. It was the very first large office building in the US. What's really wild is that this entire tower was built directly over the active railroad tracks leading into Union Station. The engineering behind it is just incredible. It's like the building is practically floating above the trains. This is another cool office building. The whole side looks like a giant map, representing downtown Chicago with the river and streets. What a clever design. And then there's the old Chicago Main Post Office. Completed in 1921, it was once the largest post office in the entire world. This building, also known as River City, instantly reminded me of the Corncob Towers, David's favorite buildings. It's super unique with those oval-shaped windows. That's no coincidence. The same architect designed them both. This multi-purpose building isn't just residential and offices. It also has a private marina with 70 docking slips. Imagine living here in the middle of the city and park your boat right outside your home. How cool is that? And of course, you can see the magnificent Willis Tower, although most people still call it the Sears Tower. For over 25 years, it held the title of the tallest building in the world, until the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur took the crown in 1998. This building is home to River Roast, a restaurant and social house where you can sit right on the riverfront and take in stunning views of both the Chicago River and the skyline. It looked like such a perfect spot to grab a drink or a meal. I'm gonna have to come back here soon. At this point, we were looping back toward where we started, this time heading down the other branch of the river to explore a whole new path. During the tour, we learned how Chicago rose from the ashes of the Great Fire and completely reinvented itself. The city became a laboratory for skyscraper design, from Beaux Arts elegance to the Chicago School, and later modernism and postmodern styles. So many of the innovations that shaped skylines around the world actually started right here. Oh my gosh, here comes another one of my absolute favorite buildings, the St. Regis, Chicago. I just love the curves of this building. At 101 stories tall, it's the third tallest building in the city, with the hotel occupying the first 10 floors. What fascinates me most is the rippling effect of the glass. How did they even manage to build something so complex and tall? In the distance, you can spot massive Lake Point Tower, another one of my favorites. It's hard to believe that this 70-story residential skyscraper was designed and built all the way back in 1968. And the sleek design still feels so modern even today, almost reminds me of massive architecture from Star Wars. Looking east toward the city's iconic skyline near Navy Pier was just stunning. The view was so beautiful. I could see the Centennial wheel standing out against the backdrop. This is where the boat paused for a few minutes so we could take pictures before turning around to head back to the dock.
So it was really cool. The city is so beautiful. The buildings are so impressive, and it was really fun to get to learn a little bit more about the reasons why they were designed in the way that they were, and some of the really innovative engineering and architectural concepts that contributed to creating Chicago.
And honestly, what an incredible city this is. I don't think that I would have gained this level of appreciation for Chicago if I hadn't taken this boat tour. Seriously, after this trip, the way I see the city has completely changed. Chicago is absolutely full of incredible architectural wonders. I walked away not just impressed, but with a whole new appreciation and curiosity for this stunning skyline and the history behind it. If you could only do one thing in Chicago, it has to be the First Lady Architectural River Cruise.
That was super cool. We really enjoyed. I mean, I wish that I could just record the whole thing because Deborah, who actually did the commentary for us, was really knowledgeable, and man, this city is really incredible. Lots of amazing buildings and super beautiful.
Well, there's so much innovation in building also. They invented the skyscraper.
Oh my God, I know.
As I mentioned earlier, the boat ticket also gets you 50% off to the Chicago Architecture Center, or CAC, if used within a week from your boat tour. We decided to go the next day, and honestly, the timing couldn't have been better. It was pouring rain, so spending 45 minutes indoors exploring architectural exhibits was such a great idea. Right away, the space gives you that museum vibe, with artwork, photos, and building models on display. The highlight for me was this room where they recreated the entire city of Chicago in miniature. The scale model of downtown has more than 4,200 buildings, and it felt like the perfect way to round out everything we saw on the boat tour. Michigan Avenue and the mall area in front, with every single detail of the city blocks and buildings captured in the model. It's amazing how precise they were. Standing over it, you really get a tangled sense of the city's layout, the skyline, and how the neighborhoods connect and evolve. They even bring it to life with a short film, using lights on the model to show how key moments in history, including the Great Chicago Fire and how the city rebuilt itself. It was such a cool, immersive way to actually see the past and understand how modern Chicago came to be. This made me realize visiting CAC actually is a perfect pairing with the river cruise if you really want to understand how the city was designed and how it continues to evolve. Upstairs, there were scale models of some of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. We spotted the Petronas Towers in Malaysia, and of course, David's favorite, the famous Corncob Towers.
There's David's favorite building.
Reading the descriptions gave us an even deeper appreciation for these icons. But the one that completely blew my mind was the model of the Jeddah Tower in Saudi Arabia. When it's completed in 2028, it will be the tallest building in the world. They have a really cute souvenir shop that you should check out, which felt a lot like the MoMA design store in New York City. So many creative design items. Look at these! How cute! You can actually come here without a ticket, so if you just want to check out the shop, you can always stop by. We couldn't resist and ended up bringing home a pair of champagne glasses and a few other little things. This was a fun and not so expensive experience. So what did you think about the Chicago Architecture River Cruise? Would you try it yourself? Honestly, watching this video before you try it yourself will definitely make your experience even better. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Your engagement really helps the channel grow. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay tuned for more fun things to do in Chicago. Until next time, bye bye.